For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise. And you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Hello everybody, Jeremy Bradley here. 53 weeks already, Larson. I think we need a new intro. I'm just saying, that one's getting pretty old already. But thanks for tuning in today at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. Phew, we are in the home stretch of award show season, and isn't it funny that Hollywood, and I've said this on the show the past few weeks, Hollywood just can't get enough of patting itself on the back, right? What other industry, what other job has award after award after award? Now, granted, it's not that every single actor is nominated, because you've got People's Choice Awards, you've got the Emmys, which is television, you've got the Oscars, which is movie, you've got Golden Globe and SAG, which is TV and movie, but, you know, yeah, I guess if I'm winning all the time, that wouldn't get old to me, but when you think about it, do firefighters, right? Firefighters who risk their lives, who save lives, who do all that kind of stuff every day, I would love for them to be honored and have some sort of award show where it's, you know, the highest burning building rescue or a fastest dash with a burn victim over your shoulder, something like that. Honestly, that would be, I would love watching that. I would tune in every month even. Like, I just think that we need to recognize, you know, yes, acting takes talent, but come on now, really. So naturally, we're going to talk about movies for the next 30 minutes. And one of our friends from E-News, Marc Malkin, will be joining us, and he's going to be talking about the snubs, the predictions for nominations, and a bit of the fashion as well. So stick around for that. So again, if you have not subscribed to our podcast, you can do that at SoundCloud and on iTunes and at thescribbleshow.com. We are on Twitter at The Scribble Show. Just to remind you that during Oscar night on Sunday, I will be live tweeting from my account, which is at SF, as in Speak Free, SF, Celeb Watch, and you can follow along with my sarcasm, and then we're going to have a full recap on Monday morning on the Entertainment Wrap-Up website. That's at entertainmentwrapup.com. And yeah, and then finally, we put to rest this award show season as we head into March, right? So you've got January, February, although there really is almost some sort of award show every month now. It's a little bit ridiculous. So would love to also hear your predictions about the Oscars as well. You can send an email. live@jbonair.com is the email address. live@jbonair.com. And so when we come, actually, we're not going to take a break. We're going to go right into it. Well, it's Oscar time again, and I love talking about movie snubs. I really do, and that's probably just the sick part of me, but we've got the managing editor for film on E-News, Marc Malkin, joining us on the line. Hey, Marc.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I am good. Excited about the Oscars, of course.
Well, I was going to say, you know what, it wraps up award show season, which now covers, 4, 5, 6 months, because Hollywood just can't get enough of patting itself on the back, right?
You know, I tell everyone there really is no award season anymore. It's really a year-round thing. Every month, at least, I think there's some sort of award show. It may not be as big as the Oscars, but, you know, I was just at the Sundance Film Festival, and it's literally right there. They're talking about next year's Oscars.
Okay.
It's like, could we get through this year's Oscars first?
Right.
We're still talking about what's going to be nominated next year?
So what is it about the Oscars, though? Like, you know, we've got the Screen Actors Guild Awards, which has films in it, and then you got the Oscars. Are we doubling up? Like, what's so big about the Oscars?
The Oscars, because it's the entire Academy. You know, Screen Actors Guild Awards, that's just the actors. That's the Actors Union. So it's just actors voting for actors. The Academy Awards, that is the Academy, and it's just movies. Screen Actors Guild, obviously, as you know, covers also television. Right. So, you know, Oscars, you know, it really is, you know, the biggest night of the year in Hollywood.
Well, we see that at the Golden Globes. There's always the mocking of the TV stars as opposed to the film stars, right?
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, you know, the Golden Globes, also TV, also movie. Golden Globes sort of, I don't want to say it's the stepsister to the Oscars. It's sort of like the drunk uncle who comes over at holiday time and you never know what to expect. That's more the Golden Globes.
Right. So, now, the other big thing that everybody's talking about, you know the hashtag, we have to get into it.
Yep.
Oscars so white. So you get the inside scoop, you talk to actors all the time. Is it really about the color of skin, or is it sour grapes about not being nominated? What's your feel on this?
I think it's about the color of skin, but I don't think it is necessarily the Academy being racist. What it is, it's the executives in Hollywood who are greenlighting projects. If you are not greenlighting projects that have black actors and black actresses in it, then you won't have those projects to vote on for the Oscars. So it's really about opening the pool here in Hollywood and really saying, you know what, we've got to stop with every movie, every lead has to be this white guy or a white woman. It's really just telling more stories and giving those filmmakers the opportunity. And I think when you have things like Netflix and Hulu and Amazon really are going to drive that competition home, I think Hollywood really has to sort of, sit up, and the studios have to sit up and say, you know what, we've got to, change things up. We've got to, do more stories. We've got to show more people of color. So I don't think it's sour grapes at all. I think if the projects aren't being greenlit, you can't have those projects to vote on.
Right. Now, that's the thing, though, is that these are separated into gender, right? Actor, actress.
Yes.
Yep. But are we getting too specific, though? Why not have best single-parent actor, best gay actor? Are we getting a little bit too particular now as to...
No, I don't think so. I think it's fine you have the gender, best actor, best actress, best supporting actor, best supporting actress. I don't think anyone's asking for, I want to see the best black actor award, at the Oscars. I want to see the best gay actor award. I think it's actor. But the problem is when the only projects that are being greenlit are for white actors and actresses, you're not going to have faces of color in the nomination pool. So I don't think anyone here is looking, just to vote for someone just because they're black. What people want, and I think rightly so, is just the chance to be part of the pool.
So now part of this whole, we can call it a scandal, I guess it is sort of a scandal, is the boycott. Now, it's stirred up, as you mentioned, the racism thing, that it's not necessarily racism, but is it? But, so are people now likely to tune in to see what's going to be, this could be a ratings winner for the Academy Awards.
For sure. I mean, everyone wants to know, what is Chris Rock going to say? Chris Rock, as you know, is hosting the Oscars.
Yeah.
Everyone... Forget about the movies that are nominated. People want to know, how is Chris going to handle this? When the Oscars So White really started up, there were some people who were saying that Chris should, back out of it. I don't think he should back out of it. He has the world is his stage now. What's going to be interesting, that obviously this is a serious, discussion. This is a serious topic. Chris is a comedian, so I think he has to walk a very fine line. If he makes fun of it too much, it's almost like dismissing it. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he walks that fine line of, joking about it, but also not dismissing it with a joke.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobites is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobites for about 3.5 to 4 months now, and in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobites, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just one day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobites isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobites now. Call 800-478-9568 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-478-9568. That's 800-478-9568.
Jeremy Bradley here, back talking with Marc Malkin as we preview the Oscars. Now, we were talking about the hashtag #OscarsSoWhite in the last segment. Let's talk about some of the big snubs. There are a lot of actors that didn't... Okay.
I mean, where is he? He's a little kid from Room, and he's so amazing in the film. Everyone thought he would be nominated. A lot of people think, he doesn't have to be nominated. He's only 9 years old. He has a whole lifetime to be, an actor. But he was quite marvelous, and people are really surprised that he did not get nominated in it.
You know what I thought was really awkward was that at the SAG Awards, him presenting the award to Idris Elba.
Yeah, it's just, but then when we were at the Critics' Choice Awards, he won at Critics' Choice, and Jacob gave the most adorable speech. He, Hollywood just, they were in love with him before, but they really fell in love with him. I've interviewed this kid, and I have to tell you, it's not easy interviewing children.
Yeah.
A lot of times, they don't know what to say, or they're too robotic. Right. This kid is so adorable, so well-spoken, and just, he's very genuine for a 9-year-old. It's really, really sweet.
Let's hope he stays that way, right? Show business, don't change him.
I hope he stays that way. I've met both his parents, who are very, very sweet. His dad, I believe, is a police detective. His mom is a stay-at-home mom. So these are very down-to-earth. They're not Hollywood people. So I have a feeling he's going to stay that way.
Fellow Canadian, I should point out, too.
There you go.
Leo DiCaprio, the Susan Lucci film. Thoughts on this year's nomination?
He is going to win. He's going to win. There are a lot of people who feel that Leo should have won years ago for different, multiple roles. This is his year. I think there's going to be a huge standing ovation when they do say his name. But I keep telling people though, it might be a little anticlimactic because he's been winning everything now. So it's not, it's one of those okay, you've won it. We're going to expect you to win the Oscar, but it's going to be, amazing to be in that auditorium, in that theater when, they announce that, Leo is finally going home with an Oscar, because there are a lot of people who think he already has one, and he does not.
Yeah, true. So, snub. Will Smith is the one who started, or I guess Jada Pinkett is the one who started rattling the cage about this. But in your opinion, did he deserve a nod for Concussion, for Best Actor? Should he have been in the category?
He's fantastic in the role. He was incredible. It's an incredible movie. There were a lot of, no one is saying that the other actors don't deserve it and Will should be in there because that other actor doesn't deserve it. So, did he deserve it? Yeah, it would be great if he was in there. He wasn't. There were a lot of great actors this year. Yeah.
What about the film Carol, nominated for actor supporting role, actress in a supporting role, but not Best Picture? 6 nominations this year.
Which is that's always interesting here. You have seen that in the past where people have been, Best Director, but it's not Best Picture, but not Best Director. It's very strange. It's, I don't know the reasoning behind it. I don't know how, what an Oscar voter is thinking. If you really, you think they deserve 6 nominations, you think, the big one would be in there, but no one's arguing that, Cate Blanchett and Rooney Mara are absolutely fantastic in this movie, and it is one of the best movies of the year.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Marc Malkin still joining us from E! News, previewing the Oscars. So we've talked about the snubs, we've talked about Oscarsowhite. Let's talk about the number of films nominated for Best Picture, because I think the most was 10 a few years ago, 8 this year. So where does the minimum or maximum number of nominees come from? When is that decided? Who decides that?
That's up to the Academy and the governors, the Board of Governors. They set any of the rules and the regulations. The thing about the Academy and in terms of rules, regulations, and voting is it's kind of pretty secretive. It's not a really open organization that way. And going back to, Oscarsowhite, people people are saying, we need to open this up. We need to know what's going on. How are you improving things? So I think part what's going to happen is we're going to learn a lot more about how the Academy functions, how the Board of Governors functions.
Something we see all the time, or hear all the time, is even on E-News as well, is that if somebody or a title wins at the SAG Awards, that's sometimes, or a lot of times, an indication it's going to get the Oscar. What is the relation, or what is the parallel that these two award shows have? Like, is there any, or do people just sort of make that conclusion?
I think, it's sort of like, the Oscars really are, it's really run like, political campaigns. So, the actors, the directors, everyone is literally campaigning for an Oscar. So everyone's going to take everything and sort of, how they twist the polls. Oh, Hillary's in the lead because of this, that, and that poll. So, Leo's in the lead. Well, Leo's a very obvious one, but, this person's in the lead because they got the SAG Award, and in 1952, the SAG Award went, and people come up with these theories of trying to figure it out, and I know people who work on Oscar campaigns, and when you listen to them talking about it, it's literally like being in a war room for a political campaign. It's all strategy. It's all trying to figure out the perfect campaign, the perfect mix of, hand-holding and kissing babies.
So on that subject of the campaigning, Straight Outta Compton, that's kind of also one of the films that sparked this whole Oscar So White thing. I'm going to put you on the spot for this one, though. What categories, if any, should it have been nominated for?
I could see it in the Best Picture category. It was an amazing picture. It's a great story, but as we know, again, the Academy is old and white. They were not going to relate to this movie. It's just not a movie that they were going to be into, but a fantastic movie, but for a different generation.
Let's flip this around then. Are there any of the nominees for Best Picture that you feel should not have been nominated?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't even think about that. Best Picture, Bridge of Spies?
Yeah.
That's sort of the smaller one in all of this, the one that people haven't been talking that much, but it's Spielberg, so people love Spielberg. The Academy loves Spielberg. The Academy members love Spielberg. But I was a little surprised I got in there. It wasn't a movie that was, people were talking about all the time during the award season. Big Short, people were talking about. Brooklyn, one of my favorite, maybe my favorite movie of the year. Mad Max, absolutely loved it. A lot of people think it shouldn't be in there because it's an action movie, but I think it was just an incredible movie. The Martian, absolutely fantastic. As we know, oddly, it was in the comedy musical category in the Golden Globes. Still don't understand that. I don't think anybody else understands that. And Revenant, Room, and Spotlight are absolutely fantastic movies. Bridge of Spies, maybe not.
Noticeably missing those Star Wars.
Star Wars, and that's really the movie that's made the most money in the history of movie making, the most successful movie in terms of money, and it's not in Best Picture. I don't know if that was people going, you know what, they made so much money they don't need an Oscar, or they looked at it like this is a sci-fi action movie. This isn't Best Picture. This isn't Room. This isn't Spotlight. This isn't Revenant. So I think, it's almost a victim of its own success because it was so successful. I think a lot of people just stepped away going, it's a huge blockbuster, popcorn movie. It's not Best Picture.
Right. Okay. So
if you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 14security.com. That's the number 14security.com. 14security.com. Go to 14security.com.
Back talking with E! News managing editor Marc Malkin, previewing the Oscars. You mentioned Leo for actor in a leading role, so your pick or your prediction for actress in a leading role?
Brie Larson. I think, the tide is going her way. The same thing with Leo DiCaprio. She's just picking up everything everywhere. She's picking up every award. Everyone loves her. I've spent plenty of time with her. She's one of the nicest people. She's normal. She's humble. And I think all of that stuff goes a long way. I mean, Kate Blanchett's in there. Obviously amazing. She's gotten a few Oscars already. Charlotte Rampling. Don't think that many people know her. She's just not on their radar. Jennifer Lawrence, I think people were surprised she got in there for Joy. Did a fantastic job, but Joy didn't really go anywhere. And Saoirse Ronan, if Brie wasn't in there, I think it would go to Saoirse.
Actor supporting role, Sylvester Stallone, what do you think?
I think he has a really, really good chance. The actor in the supporting role that's a tough one. Christian Bale was great. Tom Hardy, fantastic. Mark Ruffalo, fantastic. Mark Rylance, fantastic. But Sylvester Stallone, he's sort of the name, it's sort of the odd one in there that there's a nostalgia factor. And the movie was really good, and a lot of people were not expecting the movie to be good. A lot of people thought it was going to be, another schlocky, Rocky movie, blah, blah. And it turned out to be a great movie, and, Sylvester Stallone, I was there at the Golden Globes, and when he won, I mean, literally, people were practically in tears.
Yeah, it was a big moment. And then on the flip side, so actress in a supporting role, who do you think?
I think, it's a tough one. You got Alicia for The Danish Girl, you have Kate Winslet, Steve Jobs, Rachel McAdams, Rooney Mara, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I think it's going to go to Alicia. I think people really love her. She's gotten some awards already. The odd thing is that it's a supporting role.
Yeah.
In The Danish Girl, she really was, she was the best actress. But, I guess the studio felt that she had a better chance in the best supporting role. And I think here she does have it's either her, I think it's going to be her, or Kate Winslet.
What do you think is going to be the most outrageous moment of the night? That's a really tough question.
That's a really tough question because you just don't know what's going to happen. What I don't think you're going to see is I don't think you're going to see Chris Rock doing song and dance. He's not Neil Patrick Harris. I don't think you're going to see, Chris Rock in his underwear. I think really the moment, unless something happens, there's some big upset, which we can't really predict, or someone says something during a speech that's just so outrageous. But I think the big moment is really when that curtain rises or splits to the side and Chris Rock starts his monologue. Everyone is going to be holding their breath. What is he going to say? How is he going to tackle #OscarsSoWhat?
It should be interesting. What I always look forward to is the in memoriam, people wondering who's going to be missed out.
Yeah, that's always that's become sort of a almost not a drinking game, but it's sort of like people are just watching it to see. Okay, let's figure out who's missing, missing, and within seconds on Twitter, we will find out exactly who's missing.
Oh, you mentioned Twitter. I gotta say this because I have to tweet, of course, on Oscar night, but at the same time, every fifth tweet is now everybody telling you the winner. Everybody becomes a news outlet on award show night. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, literally social media, it's just in journalism, but it's also like we're going to get opinions left and right. There are going to be people who are going to be angry. There are going to be people who are so excited. I'll be tweeting. I'll be inside the theater, which is, exciting to be just tweeting right from inside there. But the same thing. I'm going to be excited about certain people, probably surprised by other people who are winning, and, it's fun. People get to just vent their opinions right away.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley here, back talking with E! News managing editor for film, Marc Malkin. Gotta ask you, and it's a fashion question, but you know what? Everybody has an opinion when it comes to what the stars look like. So who do you think is just gonna do it up and look glam, and who do you think is just gonna bomb? Because, we've had a long award show season, right? Some people have had some hits, some people have had some misses.
Yeah, I think one person who I think looks great no matter what, but I think most of the time her dresses are on point. Kate Blanchett. I mean, she just, she walks on a carpet and she could be wearing a paper bag, and she just has this glow, this radiance. I think, Brie Larson, I think, is just going to go very classic. I think the same thing with Alicia Vikander. I think people, they're not taking, we've said this before, they don't take the risks like they used to. They just don't, because they just know that everyone on Twitter is going to be right away giving their opinion. So better to be just go classic and more simple and elegant than try to, have whatever that swan was around Bjork's neck and the egg.
Okay, but now over to the guys, though. It's kind of just a regular black tuxedo kind of night for most of them.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And then every once in a while, someone changes things up. Like, Jared Leto shows up in a white jacket. So that's always fun. So, yeah, guys, they don't have as much, they don't have the choices that women have. I mean, they can. They could change it up, and all of a sudden a guy could come in a kilt or, a kilt, or, if he decides to come in a dress, we could do that. Many years ago, the guys from sorry, I'm blanking right now, from South Park, one of them came as Jennifer Lopez drag. I don't think we're going to be seeing that, but yeah, guys they don't have the choices that the women have, of course.
Well, and also, it could be daring if they are in a dress and they do that. Who was it that was jumping from seat to seat? Roberto Benigni, right?
Right.
Could be a little bit.
It didn't matter what he was wearing. He made a lot of headlines about just being very excited.
I got to ask you this one then. So, of all the actors, who would you want to see in a kilt at the Oscars? Got to know.
Michael Fassbender.
All right. I paused there.
I think he would look really good in a kilt.
I kind of paused there because I was kind of getting the visual, and then I kind of maybe blushed a little bit. But yeah, I can see it. Wow, I'm distracted now. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. But the cool thing is that we're gonna be watching E's live from the red carpet. We're gonna be watching the after party. We're gonna be watching Fashion Police the next day, and we're gonna be watching E News for the recap. So basically, E has everything covered, right?
We will be covering Oscars wall to wall, 24/7, and then on E Online, even more, because obviously we have even more space at E Online. So as you're watching E News and the E channel, you could also online reading E Online, because we'll have all coverage of the whole week and weekend leading up to the Oscars.
I think that's why we all have ADD, is that we're focused on too many things at one time. But it's great because
it's very true.
And there is the one downside. You still have Seacrest though, right?
I like Seacrest. I'm just gonna say that.
I know. He makes the red card.
I'm saying that because I'm a company man.
All right. Well, you know what? It's been great talking with you, Mark. We're going to be watching the Oscars and, of course, all of the E coverage. Thanks so much for joining us.
Awesome. Have a good one.
So again, I am live tweeting all Oscar night at SF Celeb Watch, at SF Celeb Watch, and then we've got the full recap of the winners, the losers. Just, you never know what's going to happen. And again, like I said with Mark, with this whole scandal of Oscar So White, it's anybody's guess what's going to happen at those Oscars on Sunday night. And again, a full recap at entertainmentwrapup.com, entertainmentwrapup.com, for our recap of those the Academy Awards Oscars, and yeah, it's about time that we're done with all that. Now, if you haven't had enough of your celebrity fix, you can always go to speakfreecelebwatch.com, speakfreecelebwatch.com, for all the celebrity guests that we've had here on the podcast and on our syndicated radio shows called Top of the Charts and The Open Road. So we've got a full page of really cool interviews that we've had. We've had a bunch of surprise guests, and you've heard them here on the show as well. So in case you've missed any of them and you haven't subscribed, like I keep telling you to, people need to listen. Speakfreecelebwatch.com. All right, we've got about a minute and a half left. I think that, The Bachelor is wrapping up on ABC. Every Monday night I live tweet my thoughts about Ben Higgins, and I truly believe that he is not suitable to be the Bachelor, and I know that Bachelor Nation is going to have some thoughts and opinions on that as well. But I get the like high school or like frat boy sort of vibe, and I don't know, but he's apparently fallen in love with two of the women. This is crazy. Will he end up with either of them? That's the question, right? And I think just being in entertainment reporting like I have been for as many years, producers legitimately don't care that he finds love. If anything, they actually want it to be dramatic and chaotic. So Yeah, I don't think that producers aren't on your side because they're producing television. They want ratings. They want people talking about the show. That's really what it is. Are people going to talk about it? If you find love and it's just a happy ending like that, not lately. Sorry, really. So it does make you wonder why these people are going on the show. If they've seen it, they know that it's dramatic and tear-filled, but at the same time, are they just wanting to be famous and get a chance on Dancing with the Stars, as what seems to happen with most people? So anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts about The Bachelor as well. Again, Monday nights, I live tweet that from @SFCelebWatch. SF Celebwatch on Twitter. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I'll talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter @thescribbleshow. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your mind